Welcome back, everybody. Saturday training session, a much lighter Saturday as we're just 1 week out from the USA Fit Games and starting on our new block heading into the American Open Finals. So we got some primer move of snatch with no contact snatch triples there at 70 kilos. I did 4 sets of 3. Just a good movement to try and prime this power snatch and snatch that I got here. The other thing too, since we have no foot, it was no foot, no contact. So the idea here is that you're not cutting the pull short, you're finishing your leg drive all the way, and then with no contact, what you're trying to do is focus on keeping the bar in for as long as you can, and working on keeping a straight bar path up. I don't do the best job with no contacts. The bar kind of drifts away from my hips a little bit, so I got to work on that a little bit more. But it's all a work in progress with weightlifting, baby. So now it's power snatch with snatch after 90 kilo, just kind of warm up set. And then I did 4 sets at 100 kilos. Still feeling the bar kind of slam off my hips a little bit sometimes, so I'm still working on that. The other one I'm working on is not ripping the bar off the floor and controlling a nice good bar path up to the knee, and then focusing on that pretty explosive second and third pull. So making sure my first pull is perfect right off the floor so I don't mess the bar path up right off the bat. A lot of the times, new lifters, you'll see the bar will drift forward right off the floor and it'll like loop around the knees. I attribute that mainly to new lifters not getting their knees back and out of the way, so the bar has to go around the knees, which right off the floor, if there's a mess up, the bar is drifting out or too far back, it's not just straight up, it's gonna mess the whole pull up all the way to the top regardless. So making sure that first pull is just absolutely perfect is going to be a really important thing for beginners and just everybody in general who does weightlifting. After our snatches, we had clean and jerks. The primer that we did was no hook, clean, 2+1. So no hook is going to really make sure that you're not blasting the bar off your hips or upper thigh for the clean. Because if you don't have that hook grip and you go blasting it off, you're not gonna have good contact in the hands. So it's gonna really force you to keep that bar in close and put it in the right positions. It's kind of like a governor really too, just for weights. You can only go up so high without hook grip. And then we have power clean, clean, and jerk, 1+1+1 here. Felt good. I'm really focusing on my positions, keeping the weight low. And the same thing applies for the clean as it does the snatch. I'm really focusing on that first pull, getting it up past the knees in a nice, good bar path and not just ripping it right off the floor. I like to be an aggressive lifter, but sometimes you got to tailor that back a little bit to make sure you're hitting the right positions. And then we did a little bit more bodybuilding training, so strict press 3x10 at 55 kilos and a back extension hold with horizontal abduction, or you can call them T's. That's the physical therapist coming out in me. And then a little bit of lower ab work, so laying down leg raises and flutter kicks. All really focusing on just trying to put more muscle mass on, just hit those weak points of mine that I have. I love the post-meet bodybuilding stuff because it's kind of what I started doing when I first lifted. I did more bodybuilding and power and strength, deadlift, stuff like that. So I always love going back to it. It's a good break from just the monotonous training of snatch, clean and jerk, and squats and pulls. It's tough being a weightlifter because it's just the same thing over and over again, and sometimes you fail to see the rewards when it comes to doing that over and over again. Sometimes you just get very bored with it. And so it's always great to have another block where you're also focusing on bodybuilding and other sorts of power development activities. I totally forgot about these mid-grip pulls. So I widen the grip out a little bit between my snatch and clean. And you can see I'm stopping short. I'm not extending all the way. The idea is that I'm hitting that position of the high thigh and keeping my shoulders over the bar while also keeping a bend in my knee so that I can finish triple extension with as much force as possible. So that's pretty much the training session today, a pretty easy training session. I think next week is going to get a little bit more difficult, and we're going to start pushing toward the AO series, trying to put on muscle mass, trying to get that technique solidified, and making sure everything is all set as we go into it, so we're not missing out on any kilos at the American Open Finals. Hopefully we'll place, you know, do a good work and get all that fun stuff as we go into this year. You'll notice here on this last strict press, I do a very slow lowering. I'm doing this because I really want to tax those deltoids of the control overhead, really slow eccentric. Time under tension is king when it comes to putting on more muscle, so slowing down your sets when you're trying to put on muscle and spending more time, you know, tensioning the muscle will benefit you. Thanks for watching.